Well, hello, cohort two. I just wanted to take a few minutes to orient you to the way that I set up the Blackboard course and to share with you some of the assignments and kind of the landscape really for the entire semester. So I know that you folks had a really good foundational experience in the scholarly practitioner, and that has really set the stage for Ed Research 1. In fact, Mike has shared with me your pops and themes, and I know some of you are off and running with it, and some are still grappling a little. Don't panic. It is all good. I will end up having some individual meetings with you shortly so that we can connect and make sure you're on the right path. And, don't worry, you'll be supported throughout the entire journey. So just wanted to orient you to the way that I set up the class. So you could see here in the course content area, you should see the syllabus first, and we'll go over that in just a moment. Also the spring calendar, I want to make sure that you use that. This will get updated. So if you do print it out, make sure you go back and you just kind of keep checking it. It's probably better just to keep the link kind of going. The assignments and all most likely won't change unless, some kind of new crazy pandemic happens on top of this one. So we did have changes last spring because of COVID-19, of course. But sometimes the guest presenters will change, so just kind of keep that in mind. But this does give you kind of a broad overview. So what we try to do in the program is to coordinate between the classes so you can see. So you can see here the blue weeks are the Ed Research classes, the yellow weeks are the Promoting Equity classes that you have to Mon Hargrove for. And we the webinars and synchronous sessions don't always line up perfectly, but you'll see every Monday you have something due, and that does line up perfectly with the course that it's supposed to be in, so that you don't have two things on the same day due. So if you kind of glance this is a really good important document to kind of just keep your, kind of lay of the land, make sure you know what's coming. And I know we haven't given you a ton of live sessions. You're going to feel a lot more of that this semester, which we think is really valuable. Our, previous cohort members have found that to be incredibly helpful. We know that you can't attend all of them, so I don't want you to panic and feel like you need to fit them all into your schedule if it doesn't, especially when there's daytime ones. And I know you are all working professionals and you can't always get off of work. We tried our best to try to look at the time slots that worked for you, and 1 and 4 seem to be really good. And then we also have some evening ones for Damon's class. So we're trying to mix it up a bit. We will record all of those. So again, if you can't attend live, you will be able to, still watch the recording. Most of the assignments are always, in fact, the assignments are always due, culminate on a Monday. But you're going to see that there's a couple of discussions that I have that you need to participate earlier. So make sure you look at this calendar to see, so for example, this week, you have program evaluation questions and discussion. Part 1 is due on the 18th, but then the discussion will end on the 22nd. And then I'll work on grading starting that Tuesday, depending on what my schedule is. All right, so we go back to the Blackboard course. The Zoom links is going to provide you with some really helpful ways to get to where you're going. Although I did send meeting invites, you probably got bombarded with lots of emails from me. That way it's on your calendar. So that's a good way for me to keep charge of it. But if you're ever looking, if I tell you to just let's have an individual meeting, you'll always do that in my personal room unless I tell you otherwise. You will also have access to the playlist. So this is our list of all of the webinars that we have done. So if you look here, you can go back and you can see these are, all the different ones in case there's something of value. I am requiring you to watch some of them through different modules, but you may want to watch something else to refresh your memory, things of that nature. And then you'll see links to, the other webinars that are a part of this, and I'll try to upload that. But if I forget to do it here, always look at your calendar because I try to do the meeting invites. That seems to be what works best. Now, each module has several components to it. So if I take a look at module 1, you'll see it starts off with learning objectives, and that's really important for you to understand what the point of the module is. I try to connect those back to the overall course learning outcomes. And as you'll see this summer, when you take the innovative teaching practices and you really look at backward design more, you'll see the importance of that. Some of you already know and acknowledge that, and that's great. If not, please do take a minute to look at the learning objectives. They do really kind of guide the rest of the work for the module. Now, the readings and resources, each of those will vary. So here you can see this particular module's got a lot of links to articles. So you want to, this, and we'll have a live session on this topic also that I'll record afterwards. So these are really great resources. I try to put the links whenever possible right into this so you can have easy access to them. And let me just scoot down to another one to show you readings and resources for Module 2. Some of them will also have videos. I try whenever I remember to put the minutes so you know how much time you have to allot for the different tutorials. Some of them are ones that I created, and others are external folks. So Sue Giancola is the author of one of your texts for the semester. This is the webinar that she did for students in the fall. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to watch this so she doesn't have to repeat that, but we can have more of a conversation with her because she is coming again, in case you didn't notice, to interact with you folks. So you'll see video links, you'll see links to some of the articles. When it's just chapters from the book, then obviously I don't link to that. You have to go and read the actual chapters. And then after, so you have objectives, readings, and resources. After that, you're going to see all of the assignments that relate to that module. In this particular module, you'll see they're not always week by week. They're kind of that way. You're starting with this as a focus, and obviously the chapter 1 part is due earlier, but I kind of lumped all of these together because content-wise and resource-wise, they're linked. So you may have noticed that I hope I'm not freaking all of you out, but I am going to ask you to start dipping your toes into chapter 2 this semester. Last year, we didn't have students do that until the fall, but that was really because of COVID. And in hindsight now, I think students really needed more time on chapter 3 in the fall. And I'd like to see you be able to at least start to get familiarized with the, kind of a plan of which direction you're going in, and B, what does some of the literature say about that plan, that intervention program of practice. So we'll talk a lot more about that. We have a couple of sessions live, and of course, there's plenty of ways to reach out to me. So don't hesitate. I'll be doing some more pop-up things, and I'll add them to the calendar as needed. So, you will be focusing on chapter 1. That's one of our kind of key assignments for the semester, and it will be one of the key things for the qualifying portfolio. So first you'll engage in the search table, and then you'll engage in writing an actual draft of chapter 1. And you'll see that I have this due March 8th. So I'm trying to push you forward. That way, if there's some edits and stuff, you have more time to revise and all through the rest of the semester, so that you are definitely ready for that qualifying portfolio that'll happen in the summer. And then for chapter 2, I'm not requiring a draft of chapter 2, but instead I am giving you an option to either at least do the search table to show me you've kind of started the process and you have the right terms and you're off and running, at least in the right, kind of have a good pathway to follow. Or if you are one of those, folks who wants to really just kind of hit the ground running and have the time to dive into writing a draft chapter, I will give you feedback on it. So that's your call, what you decide to do there. And then it goes through, you'll see the different modules, so we're going to talk about program evaluation and logic models. Some of these are group projects. In fact, there's a decent amount of group work in this class. I just randomly assigned groups throughout to give you a chance to work with different people. I tried to keep them manageable, so you can see here there's 7 groups, so they should be about 3 per group. 2 to 3 students in each group, which should make it not too hard for you to connect. But what I do encourage you to do is to look ahead, identify your group members. So don't wait till the week of, I want you to look ahead, and that way you can start connecting. Now, again, you're going to want to make sure you get some of the background knowledge before you, run too far ahead. But So if we're having a webinar or something, but you can at least connect with your group, maybe come up with a plan for when you're going to meet after, after you get that foundational knowledge established and things of that nature. So we'll, again, I'll be popping in and doing these kinds of things. I'm not going to go over all the details here. I will just throw up the syllabus real quick just to make sure you make this a little bit bigger. Here, let me just do it this way with my screen. Okay, so when you start, at the beginning of the syllabus, again, this is really important for you to understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish this semester. So please do take some time to look at the learning outcomes for the course. This is probably one of the heaviest reading semesters for you because it's helping you establish all your foundational skills. And I know some of you have real strength and experience in this area, and others are feeling like a little bit out of their comfort zone. But don't worry, don't fret. It's something that we will all get through together and support one another. That's what we do in this program. And again, I'm not asking you to read all of these books cover to cover in a way that you're memorizing them. These are all resources, but I have very carefully identified which chapters you should be looking at. Again, you'll sometimes be overwhelmed by the amount of reading that I have listed, but I'm not quizzing you on all of it. I'm trying to help you build that foundational knowledge. And the more you read, the better it will be for you. So some of these are open access, like the Kellogg's. So these are just PDFs. This survey book is a free one, which is why I used it. There is a more updated, book by different authors that I think is pretty good too. So if you want to buy one, I would probably buy the more recent version, but it's totally fine to just use the free one from the library because there's a lot of expenses with the other research books. These are all, the references that are sprinkled throughout the semester, so you'll see them when they come. You'll see there's a lot of mini assignments. I try to give you lots of opportunities to develop these skills in a supportive environment. So nothing is too heavily weighted. The most heavily weighted thing is chapter 1, which is 20. Everything else is 10%. So again, you can see the way the modules are set up here. And then of course in Blackboard, they look very similar, but just through the Blackboard lens. It may be that I add some, to the videos or synchronous sessions. So stay tuned. The syllabus is a working document. I do that just to provide you with extra resources and support. So you can go ahead and see all of that. And after the modules, you'll see the assignment details. Again, this information also is in Blackboard, but you can see what is expected. And I have provided you with some general grading criteria of what I'm looking for that A-level work. And you'll see that throughout. So that's basically, what it is that you need to know. Let me just go back to Blackboard real quick. The only other thing I will draw your attention to, which you already know, is that we are using announcements a lot. So you'll see those pop up and they kind of go right in the middle of your screen. And of course, you can go and access your gradebook up here, with the gradebook feature to check that out. One thing I will ask you to do, I don't really like to use the messaging in Blackboard because we're a cohort. It's easier for me to answer your emails if you just email me directly at charrington1. Demond may likely have a different preference because his email, at work might get lost in the shuffle. So he'll let you know what his preference is. But for me, I really would prefer for you to email me at charrington1 whenever you have any questions, rather than through the class. All right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot going on this semester, but I promise we're going to walk step by step by step together. So you are not in this journey alone. You can do all of this, and you are going to feel just an incredible sense of accomplishment by the time we get to May. And I hope that you already are, because I'm really impressed with how far you've already traveled with your POPs and figuring out a pathway. And for those of you who are still grappling with it, it is okay. Please do not panic around that. We will help you, and there is still time for you to shift gears if you want to. So if you're in that zone, shoot me an email so I know that that's kind of what you're thinking about, and we will find time and figure it out together. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good day.